Hello everybody. I am recording these videos to cover part of the lecture in the first session of week 14, which is about capacity management. I highly recommend you to read the literature carefully in details. You can also read the slides. I have put some comments there to explain the details in the slides. I hope you find them helpful. But here in these videos I will only explain the examples that you may find in the slides. We have talked about different methods for evaluating capacity alternatives. There are three quantitative methods, and for each of them we have an example. I will start with cost analysis. When we have different capacity alternatives, there are usually two main costs associated with each capacity alternative. We have fixed cost and variable costs. And then based on this fixed cost and variable cost, we can calculate the total cost associated with each alternative. If you remember from the lecture that we talked about different sourcing strategies, the fixed costs were associated with kind of administrative costs, the costs that are not related directly to the level of business that we are doing. It is not related directly to the number of products that we are producing or the customers we are serving. On the other hand, we have variable cost that is directly related to the level of business, to the number of the products that we are producing, for example, the direct material costs. Yeah, so we have total cost, which is equal to the fixed cost plus variable cost, which is the unit cost multiplied by X, which is the level of business activities, or in other words, let's say the number of products produced or customers served. And you can see notation here. In this example, we have a company that produces seafoods and ships it to different locations. And for its shipments, it has three different alternatives. It can call a common carrier company, it can lease its own trucks, or it can reach a contractual agreement with a local carrier. For each alternative in the table here, we can see different cost elements. For example, for the first alternative, that we'll call it the common alternative, or the common carrier alternative, we have zero fixed cost and we have a variable cost equal to 750 for each shipment. And then for the other alternatives, we can also see the cost structure, or in other words, the fixed cost and variable costs. And we want to do a cost analysis to choose between these three alternatives, or at least to come up with some managerial advices to make a decision about capacity selection. To do the cost analysis, we need to plot the cost curves, and we can do it just by substituting the numbers that we have in the table in the formula that we saw in the previous slide. So for the common alternative, or the first alternative, we have total cost equal to 0, which is the fixed cost for this alternative, plus 750 multiplied by X, which is the number of shipments. And then for the second alternative and third alternative, we can also use the numbers here and the formula in the previous slide to find the equation of the total cost. And when we plot these three equations that are equations for lines, we will get this figure, something like this. So we have, for the first alternative, we have this red line, then for the second one we have the purple line, which is here, and then for the last alternative we have the green line. And of course, we can see that if the number of shipments is less than something about 11, then it is the first alternative that has the lowest cost. If the number of shipments is something between 11 and 60, let's say 4, if it is something in this area, then it is the second alternative that will give us the lowest cost. And if the number of shipments are greater than 64, then it is the last alternative that will give us the lowest cost. To calculate these points, we just need to put the equations of these two lines equal to each other and then solve them for x.